I want to thank you once again for your time, taking off time, your busy schedules to make time work this video. I want to say I appreciate you, the Way Network appreciate you for your audience and all the resources you inject into it. I know watching videos takes data, but personal development is not something which is cheap or which is easy. And everything that you need in life that has a price, you need to pay that price for it, as long as it inures to your collective good and for the collective good of all creation. So I just want to appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy, your effort you are doing, trying to enhance your knowledge, to elevate yourself beyond ordinary consciousness and awareness, to come to the full realization of yourself, your personality, and your connection with divinity in the universe. I just want to say I really appreciate it, and I thank you so much for such an interest. I want to thank everybody, those who are in Ghana and those outside Ghana, for their enormous support, for all the help they have been giving to us and the support they've been granting to us in cash and in kind, in advice. I really appreciate it. People calling to give advice on some of the things we can do to enhance our operations and to reach out to larger audience. Some people even call and appears to be so worried that we are not the kind of message we are teaching. We are not putting the necessary strategies to be able to reach out to larger audience, and they are worried because they think more people should have this knowledge. So we are grateful, and we'll be doing as much as we can to make sure we reach to as many people as we can. I specifically want to thank a few people on my own for their direct support to the organization. First on the list is Mr. Michael from Canada. I just want to thank you for your enormous support, your understanding, and anything that you have donated towards the collective good of this agenda. I always also want to thank Mr. Adams, currently in Burkina Faso, for also supporting us in cash in many ways to make sure you get this agenda forthgoing. They always say that, Mr. Mensah, what you are doing, nobody can pay you for the services you are rendering. This is just a token, so always accept it with a good heart. It's not enough, but this is what we can. And I really, really appreciate it. I just want to thank you for the support. I also like to thank Chan in US for also supporting in so many ways, in advice and all those things, to make sure this program reaches where it can reach. I also want to thank Faustina in Canada, who also supports in cash and advice, pushing so many advice, how to get you take good advantage of the social media, sometimes bringing my attention to a lot of avenues on social media which I'm not abreast with, that we can explore to really reach out to people, because the message must get out to the people. I always want to thank Juliet from the UK, who has also been contributing, constantly sending me credit and data to be able to. Most of the calls I make, I call people when I speak for 1 hour. I use my phone to call people, international calls, and I speak for an hour, 30 minutes. She's been providing some credit for that facility too. So I thank you so much. I want to thank Mr. Atta in the US and all other people who have not mentioned their name. Because I want to mention every name, the list will never end, and it's going to eat into our time. So all those who are on this list are, and I've mentioned their names and I've not mentioned their names, and you know you support in cash and kind in prayer. I just want to say thank you. May God bless you and reward you for your effort. And I know that someday, when we all have finished our work and we transcend this physical body, as long as we live within the laws of the universe and obey the laws of nature, and we live to the dictates of our Creator, we will reap the benefits of our investment. I also like to appreciate the crew who have been assisting this program to be what it is today. They have been struggling with the minimum facilities that we have, because setting up a studio is very expensive and we are very young. So they are trying as much as possible to use the little facilities available to put up equally quality and standardized production for the viewing of our audience. I would like to thank Mr. Mike for his technical input. He's been behind the machines and trying to put everything together to get the full video production done for the viewing of the audience. I would like to thank Mr. John, who also has assisted so many ways, directing, being with me in every step of the way. Anytime I call upon Charlie, we need to get here, he'll be there, suggestion and everything. I'd like to thank him for his support and always being there when I call on his assistance. And now I'm directing all the screenplays and everything that needs to be done. I'd like to thank Mr. Prince. We normally call him Engineer One. He's also supporting so many ways. He's a very busy man, I know. He runs the Redeemer Civil Engineering and Plumbing Works, but despite his busy schedules, he always tries to make sure that when it is time for production or anything regarding the Way Network, he will be present. He will sacrifice his appointments with his business partners to make sure that he will be present to support our activities. I'll thank Abraham too for his enormous support, always being there at the office doing consultations and making sure that everything which is needed is put in place. I also want to thank one of our great brothers who has also been with me from the very inception. Brother Moses, unfortunately, is falling ill a little bit, and then we wish him speedy recovery. I want to appreciate all his input and his effort that he has made to get the witness to where we are today. Today we are going to talk about a very wonderful topic that I feel it will be of a great benefit to humanity. You see, one thing I noticed is a lot of us doesn't understand our personality. And as I told you, at the Way Network here, we are not in for competition. We are not in for numbers. We are here to teach. As much as we can, we are doing our possible best to disseminate knowledge. That is why most of our videos come in series, so that when we take a particular topic, we can bring it to a closure so that one can have a full scope of knowledge to apply to his everyday life. That is our major objective. We are not interested in picking and choosing just at random, saying anything at random. So you don't have a collective understanding of what is going on. Because knowledge is very essential, that when knowledge is scattered, at the end of the day, you become confused. And I have seen a lot of people, I have spoken to a lot of people who call me and they are confused about which direction to take. Why? Because they've listened to this speaker, they've listened to this guest, they've listened to this guest, this person is talking this. Whoever talks sounds sensible and logical. And then another guest comes in, talk, it sounds sensible and logical. So the knowledge has been so much scattered and so much vast, to the sense that now it is very difficult to have a sense of direction and to be able to orient oneself for the person's personal development. And that's the reason why you scarcely see other people or other guests coming on the show. Not because we don't want to do that, but we are trying as much as possible to keep our message in perspective so that it will be beneficial. And that's the reason why you see what is going on. Yes, occasionally we'll be bringing certain guests on show to kind of give their input, but their input should still fall in line with the series we are running, in order that people would have full benefit of the knowledge and they can apply it to their everyday lives. So that's why sometimes it needs to take a little bit of time before some videos come out, and I hope you understand. Today we're going to talk about as I said before, we're going to talk about a very sensitive topic that is going to help us in our everyday life. I'll commence by reading a chapter in the Bible, and that chapter is Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. It's a very, very popular verse. Many people know. But we are going to look at it in a different light and in a different perspective. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. Matthew 7, 7. Matthew 7, 7 reads that, "Ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asks receives, and he that seeks finds, and to whom that knocks, it shall be opened. Oh, what man is there of you, whom if his son asks bread, will give him stone? Or if he seeks a fish, will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask? So, when you see the context of this Jesus' message that he was teaching to his audience, he was saying that he's trying to say that whatever you ask, you will receive. And whatever you seek, you would find. And any door that you knock, it shall be opened unto you. That even we men, carnal men, mortal men, who have evil intention, when our children that we love so much seek certain things from us, we give them exactly what they want. That when they seek for fish or they ask for fish, we don't give them serpent in return. And then when they ask for bread, which is food, we don't give them stones in return. That even if we men with evil intentions, being mortals and being fallible, know how to give good gifts to our children, how much more the divine Father which is in heaven. When they talk about the divine Father, he's talking about the infinite supplier of our needs to the universe. How much more this infinite supplier, who is of love and of kindness and of compassion, not give us the good things that we request of him. And it went further to say that whoever asks shall receive. But the question I ask myself is, now when you go to the churches, many people are asking, not only in the churches, you go to the mosques, you go to all sort of places, people are asking. There are a lot of people who are confused in life. You don't know whether to go to left or whether to navigate right. People don't know what to do with their lives again. And it appears that a lot of people are at a dead end, not knowing which direction to take. They are at a dead end in their relationships. They are at a dead end in their business life. They are at a dead end in their professional life. They are at a dead end in their family life. And they don't know which direction. And it appears that there's no higher direction that is leading them to their destination or to their purpose. And they kept on asking, what should I do? Where should I go? Who should I see? And it appears there is no answers to those requests. But the state in which people find themselves contradicts the teachings of the Master, which is in the Holy Book. The teaching says that what you ask, you will receive. So if you ask and you don't receive, then there is a problem. The problem is either you are not asking properly, or you don't know how to receive the information. You see, it is either your receptivity is coarse and low or inactive, or the way the protocol by which you put on your petition is not accepted. Today, I'm not going to talk about protocol of putting in information, but what I'm going to talk today, I'm going to talk about our receptivity. How do we harness the information when it is being transmitted to us? And to be able to harness and then connect to the information which is being transmitted to us when we request or when we ask or when we seek, we must understand our personality, who we are, our makeup, how do we communicate, how do we relate to ourselves and our environment and the world beyond this our particular environment. Once we're able to get that knowledge in scope and in perspective, it will be easier to now develop a channel through which we can connect and then receive our informations that we need to guide our everyday life. So today I'm going to talk about understanding your personality and how to receive inner directions. That is what I'm going to talk about. Understanding your personality and how to receive inner directions. Because you have a person or you are a person, so you must understand what is your makeup. How do you function? Because you operate on two folds, okay? The physical and then the non-physical. So we put petition within the physical space as well as put petition within the non-physical space. Now, unfortunately, within the physical space, when you put in a petition, it is easy to get a response because you see the person and you talk to the person through audibility. But in the non-physical space, you are talking to an entity or a source you can't see. Now, you do not even have a fair knowledge and understanding of how the source talks to you back. And you have no understanding on how to listen to the source. Yet, your whole life on earth is dependent by the dictates and the direction of that non-physical source and not the physical source. And that is where we are having a problem. That is our confusion. So most of the time when people call me and they are confused, oh, I listened to this one on this show, he said this and it makes sense. And then another time I listened to this one on this show and says that. I say, yes. When you want to listen to everything and you have an itching here, what is going to happen is you will be confused. And what I tell them, you must learn to listen to yourself. The divine within you. The only great teacher, the only great master who would never ever deceive you, lie to you, or treat any information is the master that lives in you. That is your divine self. And establishing contact with that divine self is the only way by which you can understand and have true, unadulterated directions in life. The state in which people are, I have also been in that state before, where I was doing my TRR, Transcendental Rotational Research, where you come across different information from different sects and different religions, and you kind of get to a dead point or a dead end where you don't know what to believe no more, because each and everybody is making tangible points and proving that his path is the right one. So where do you go? Where do you pass? Who do you ask? Because whoever you ask tells you what he's saying is the truth and is the reality. But what we don't appreciate, we have personal truth and impersonal truth. Truth, the question is, what is truth? Truth is that which is never harmful and it is never injurious. That is the simplest way I would explain what truth is. Truth is that which is never harmful and it is not injurious. Yet we have personal truth and impersonal truth. Personal truth is the kind of truth or the kind of information which you perceive for your life and it is relevant and good for your life. And that truth may not necessarily be applicable to another person. We call it personal truth. It is a truth, but it is a personal truth. For instance, if when I eat pepper and I have stomach upset, it's my personal truth. That means pepper gives stomach upset. But to me, it does not necessarily mean that all other people who eat pepper will have stomach upset. When you propagate knowledge in such a manner, your personal truth to be the impersonal truth, that is where you end up confusing people. And this is what a lot of speakers have been doing. And it has ended up confusing a lot of people. What is impersonal truth? Impersonal truth is that if I eat pepper and the pepper has a burning sensation in my mouth, it's an impersonal truth. It's an experience which is impersonal. Because whoever will eat that particular pepper would have that burning sensation. So that kind of truth about pepper is impersonal. It's a truth which is meant for all to consume. But the truth of whether a pepper can keep somebody's stomach upset or not is a personal truth. Because the level at which I may be able to withstand the harsh spicy of pepper would be different. Somebody might have a higher resilience than my resilience. So we may eat the same food prepared with the same pepper, and I may have stomach upset, and that other party may not have stomach upset. So in that level, that is my personal truth. And most of the time, what gets people confused is when people begin to preach their personal truth as impersonal truth. And I've listened to a lot of speakers, I've listened to a lot of profound spiritual resource persons and interviewers and all those things. And they try to project that what they know should be the ultimate, and that any other options is not the best. And most of the time, when you listen to them, they are dealing with their personal truth and imposing their personal truth to be impersonal truth. And it is creating a lot of confusion. So then, the question is, how do you get out of this entanglement? Where people think that their personal experiences and encounter with specific knowledge is the knowledge that is supposed to be everywhere. And that is the knowledge that all people should know. Where these people has not been able to decipher between what is a personal truth and what is impersonal truth. Because when you are talking to a congregation, you have to deal with impersonal truth. But when you are advising somebody based on experience with similar polarity, then you can advise the person based on personal truth, that is personal experiences. But there are people who fall in line with your polarity, there are people who fall in line with your energy. So you have the same experiences, and your experiences are similar. So such people or such circumstances, you can use your personal truth as a scenario to guide the people. But your personal truth should not be spoken on a broad audience level as impersonal truth. When that happens, you create confusion, and that is what is creating your confusion. And today I am coming to give you a way out, how to decipher and know when somebody is speaking a personal truth and is imposing that personal truth on you as an impersonal truth. You see, one thing we must understand in life is that nobody is a custodian of knowledge, absolute knowledge and intelligence. No matter how you think you are knowledgeable, no matter how you think you are spiritual, no matter how big you think you are still limited. Because true intelligence is limitless and infinite. And once you begin to have the feel of that impersonal truth to be personal, that your personal truth to be impersonal truth, then what comes is what we call egoism. You become egoistic because you feel what you say is the ultimate and there's nothing beyond what you say, and that if it is not what you are saying, then it is not correct. And this is where egoism comes in. And egoism gives birth to pride, and pride would eventually give birth to shame and ridicule. Because every person you're speaking to or you have an opportunity to encounter, all those people have their own intelligences. No matter how inferior or low that intelligence is, it is still an intelligence. Because there's a wise man once said, even the lowly in heart and the lunatic have their own story, and their perception to the story is their reality. And that's why those days when I was teaching, when somebody asks a question and you laugh in the class, you have a score to settle with me. You laugh because you think this is irrelevant question. You have a score to settle with me. Because to that person, that is what is bothering his mind, and that is what he thinks he wants to know, or that is what he thinks he knows. And at his level, that is the ultimate that he knows. So how do you decipher and come to your own reality? Because I want to tell you for a fact, including myself, there is no master, there's no teacher, there's no spiritual person greater than the master and the teacher that is in you. All other people can serve as guides. That's why I always say that for me, I'm not a master. When you call me a master, I'll tell you, don't call me a master. Don't call me that. I am just only a guide. But the true master, the true guru, or the true teacher is inside of you. And that is the only master you should listen to. You may take advices from outside, but at the end of the day, when you want to make your decision, when you want to come to a conclusion, you must depend on that which speaks from within your being. But it is the only one that can never deceive you. I can sit here and give you a whole lot of acronyms, give you a whole lot of pleasant presentations, but I might have an ulterior motive. I might have a different intention. And you have seen a lot of speakers do that. They say one thing, but when you go to them, it's a different story. They are on media and they present it so nice and so well that whatever they are doing is a collective good of human, but it is a different story outside. But the only person or the only energy that can never deceive you is the power within you, the teacher within you, the master within you. And that master will give you everything for free. That teacher will provide every knowledge for free if you know how to listen to that teacher. And when you know how to listen to that teacher, if you know how to listen to that master, if you know how to listen to that teacher, you don't need me to sit here and talk to you. That is the truth. You don't need any other master. You don't need any other teacher. You don't need any other spiritual guru. So today, how do you listen to this master? How do you listen to this teacher? And have the inner guidance? Sometimes when people come to me and we talk, I tell them, look, I'll prefer you find it out for yourself. Because when you are in a situation, the way you will handle the situation will be different from when I'm handling the situation for you. Because you are feeling the heat. So the intensity to which you would react and try to resolve the problem will be different from mine. Because you know what is happening to you. And it all goes down to the fact that it is you that you are having your own experiences. This life we are in is a life, it's a journey of having your own experiences. And we are here to learn. That is what we are here for. Yesterday I was talking to one of the brothers and I was telling him that one of the biggest problems and one of the biggest deceptions we have in our world today is because we don't understand why we are in this life. And when I listen to people and I listen to a lot of spiritual teachers in Ghana and across Ghana, acclaimed and unacclaimed, known and unknown, very popular and unpopular ones, all that they talk about is not the reason why we are on earth. So I was telling him that we are not on earth to acquire anything material. Be it wealth, houses, cars, that's not the reason why we are on earth. We are on earth to acquire knowledge and to better our experience. This is the only reason why we are here. That is why everything you acquire on earth, you leave it behind. And the only thing you take with you is the kind of self-development you embark on whilst you are in this physical body, in this material world. Everything else you leave behind. As well as I was even telling him that there are times where the things that you sweat, the empire you sweat to build, will go to a different person who you never know and you may never meet. Then I was giving a classical scenario that, for instance, I worked so hard to put up a mansion, to build up, to set up a big, huge multilateral company, and I die or I passed on. Then I will down my property to my son. Then my son gets married to a lady. Unfortunately, they couldn't give birth and my son dies. Naturally, by law, the lady becomes the sole heir to those properties. Yet the lady has no child with my son. That will be linked to my lineage. And my son dies and the lady inherits all the properties and all the mansions and all the wealth. When this lady dies, who inherits those properties? Should the lady not get married or give birth? Who inherits the property? It goes to the lady's family. It doesn't come back to my family. And if the lady should marry again and he dies, the property goes to that husband, who is in no way connected to my family. So you realize that all we do is about nothing. So when somebody comes on there talking about material wealth and all those things, I would advise you don't pay much attention to it. Because it's just a means for us to reach the state that we can acquire the necessary knowledge and the necessary experience which is designed for us. But that is not why we're on earth. It is good to make money. I like money. I try to make money reasonably as possible, not through means of extortion. But the point is that I still know that this is not the reason why we are on earth. And I want you to keep this at the back of your mind as we proceed on this topic. That the only reason why we are on earth is to acquire knowledge and to enrich our experiences. That is all.